So the producer has let me know that she is already sick of editing videos. She told me this video, I have to do it in one shot with very little editing. I don't know if I could do that, but we're going to try. This week, we're upgrading to Unraid 7.2.4 after this. Welcome to Gavin as a Service, my place on the internet where I like to talk about the tech that we have in our homes. And this week, I'm going to be talking about Unraid 7.2.4. Now, this was released a few weeks ago, and I like to wait a few weeks before I upgrade, just mainly because you will see like apps will get updated, Dockers may get updated, you know, people report their bugs, let them suffer before I get into it. And it has been a few weeks now, and it's about time. And you know, we're just gonna YOLO this. I'm just gonna get into this, just gonna do it, recording it live. This isn't well, it's gonna have some editing, but I haven't pre-planned this, but we will see how this goes. I'm pretty sure it will be fine, nothing to worry about. So when 7.2.4 was released, it was released with very little notes. It looked like it was a lot of security stuff, but I'm also on 7.2.2 right now. I kept back a version. For some reason, 7.2.3 I wasn't feeling too good with, but it's about time to upgrade. So we're just gonna get right into this. From the notes, it looks like mainly security updates, which is always a good thing. You don't want something like this being insecure, especially if you expose it in any way to the internet, which you shouldn't really be doing, but some people do. So, you know, it's not a hard upgrade. You just gotta follow a couple steps, and it takes some time depending on your setup for it to reboot and stuff like this, especially on my setup for some reason. So let's just get right into this. So here you will see, this is my main server. This is the server I run everything. I have upwards of 50 Dockers on it. I have 2 virtual machines running on it. It's a Dell 730, R730 server. I have it rack mounted in the basement. Got tons of memory. It's got a bunch of disks in it. It's what I call my critical server. I mean, I don't want this one to go down. When it does, I get calls. So what we're gonna do here, just first thing I like to do is I like to go in and stop all the Dockers. So we're gonna go over to the Dockers tab. These are all my Dockers currently running. I have an advanced view. Let me put it back to basic. I'm just gonna let that run. While that's running, I'm also gonna do stop my VMs. I have 2 VMs, one's for Home Assistant, and one's I just run random Windows apps on. So I'm just gonna stop all those too. And while those are stopping, one thing I do like to do is I like to go into the settings and into the NVIDIA, and just, you know, mine are up to date, but I like to just make sure you have the latest version of the NVIDIA drivers. Now I have version 580.126.118. Reason being is I have some older NVIDIA Tesla cards in here. They're not gonna work on the latest version. They pulled support for that, so now I'm on a older version, a production branch still, and it supports the cards. So I keep it at that one. We're up to date. I have a T4, I have a P4 in here, and they do various things like transcoding or running Olama and various AI things. So we're good with that. We're just gonna jump back to my VMs. We can see they should all be stopped. Yep, they're all stopped right now. My Dockers is always gonna take forever. There's so many of them going. It's slowly stopping them all. We're just gonna let that run for a bit. And there we go. They've all stopped. Dockers are good to go. Just double checking my VMs are good to go. We already saw that my NVIDIA is up to date. And one more thing I like to do, this is just me, I think you should actually do this, but I like to make a backup of the flash drive on another computer, just in case something goes sideways. I can at least restore the flash drive. So usually I do that going through main. I click on flash. From there I just do a flash backup. Don't know if I should be hiding the GUID. Maybe I should be hiding the GUID. Maybe I will hide the GUID. If the GUID's blanked out, I hit it. And it's just creating a zip file of the flash drive right now, which I will then just save on my local computer here. If like I said, if anything were to go sideways, and this has happened before, I would just take that backup, restore it to the flash drive, boot back up. It saved me and worth doing. So we'll just let that generate and then I'll save it. Done. All right, now let's do the update. Here we go. 7.2.4. As you can see, I already have 7.2.2, so we'll be jumping over 7.3.3. We can view the change log. As you can see, not really much in this. There were some known issues in the 7.3. I already read those, but it's always good to read the known issues, so make sure you know what you're getting back into. There's instructions in rolling back, and I have had to do this, so it's always good to know how. And just some changes. Here's some of the notes it did, but like I said, it seems like this release addressed some critical security vulnerabilities, so it's worth the upgrade. So now we're just going to hit continue. Current version 7.22, and this is going to require a reboot. The reboot takes forever on my server, but we're just going to go for it. Confirm, start the upgrade, and it's in progress. So it's downloaded. One thing it does usually say this with me, it's says that it's checking some other stuff in the background. Usually when that happens, I have to wait for it to send me an email. I'm just keeping an eye out for that email. So it has confirmed everything is up to date, and now I've gotten the email that says we are good to reboot. So at this point, I'm just going to kick off reboot, and we will wait for the reboot to happen. Reboot now to update to 7.2.4. It's usually not bad, but you never know what you get into. Yes, it usually takes me this long to reboot this server. There's a lot going on it, but we just wait. This is not going to be the most exciting video, but at least we got Tim Hortons and Carhartt. Neither of those have paid me to say that, but if they want to pay me to say that, I'm open for a sponsorship. So I'm just going to log back in here. It's probably still starting up the array. It's going to be starting up a few of my usual Dockers that I have set to start at startup. So it's still going to be doing some things. So first thing I'll usually do, I'll go back in and just start back up my Dockers, or sometimes I will open up this log, see if there's any critical errors that I should be looking into. I reviewed it quickly. I didn't see anything that was causing a major outage or issue right now, so everything's looking good as far as I can tell just by a quick glance. When this Docker tab loads, for some reason when I boot for the first time, it takes a while for it to like settle down, so this will take a little while to populate. And there we are. Just gonna starting up some of these Docker containers. I use folder view 3, just in case you're curious as to why these look this way. So I usually just click on them and click start. The main issue I usually run into after an upgrade, I'll show you, is if I have issues with my video cards, so usually I should have done this before I started anything, but just come back into NVIDIA and they're still visible there, so I don't anticipate any issues. I just go back, I start starting things up. Server can handle so many things starting at once. It's more than powerful enough. I have cores dedicated to things, and I've been playing with this unsocial one too, so I gotta just do that one separately. Don't have it in a folder yet, and then come over to my VMs, and since I only really have 2 of them, I'll just click start all and let them go. And that should be it. Once they are started, they're going, everything's running. Once again, my logs all look clean, so I don't anticipate any errors yet. But I'm gonna review the logs later, because you see some warnings and stuff like that. Nothing that looks critical, but I like to review them just to see if anything could potentially be an issue in the future. But that's pretty much it. We just upgraded to Unraid 7.2.4. I'm going to be running it through some tests, just make sure everything's good. Once it all settles down and everything like that, I don't anticipate anything. Everything went pretty smooth. It took a little while to do, but really and truly, it's not a hard process at all. And this is pretty much the same process for every version. The key is understanding what's changing, and making sure you have things up to date, because you don't want to get caught off guard with you need an update for this app, or you need an update for a plugin or something like that caused something to break. Just make sure you update to the latest of everything. And my rule of thumb is to stay a version behind, at max. If anything, it makes upgrading much easier. Like if I was in version 6, for example, and I had to do this, it would be a much harder process. So whenever they release a new version, I just incrementally update. I'm actually looking forward to version 7.3.0, which I believe they are looking at getting rid of the whole well, not getting rid of, but allowing you to use SSD drives as your boot drive, and that will also be like the key, right? So instead of having a USB flash drive and everything's tied to the GUID of that, for your licensing and stuff, you can use an SSD drive now, because it's getting harder and harder to find USB drives for some reason that have a GUID on it, or they have duplicate GUIDs or something dumb like that. So I'm pretty sure we'll see 7.3.0 in the next few months, or at least the beta version of it released in the next few months, and we'll talk about that when it arrives. But until then, go ahead, upgrade your Unraid to the latest version. Pretty simple process, don't be afraid. It won't take long, and until the next upgrade, take care. Hopefully she's happy with this one. Very few errors, a lot of fast forwarding. Nah.